So this is an abandoned government campground near Burwash Landing. So evidently, from what I've read, local people come out here and kind of take care of it, clean it up. They ask that whatever you pack in, you take back out. And there's no charge, no signs, no fees. Just be courteous. Don't wreck it. Sites are pretty clean. Some of them have new tables. They have nice fire rings. Okay, over here there's kind of a big pavilion area. And there are a couple outhouses that look like they're being maintained. So that's nice. Nick, you're never going to catch the bird. He always tries. See? He thinks he can launch that little body in the air and fly with the birds. Nick, you're a dog. You're not a bird. Heaven forbid, Nicky. You're getting too far away. Okay, here's Kluani Lake. We're right on the shores of it. We just happened to pick a site that didn't have water view. And yep, it's still frozen out there. Brr! There's a little path you can get down to the water. I don't know if there's a beach down there, but the wind is blowing. That's kind of cool. I think we're heading back. All in all, this is a pretty nice place. I don't know why the government doesn't run it anymore. Seems to be in a prime spot. And we're the only ones here tonight. And here we are, back to our campsite. Home again, home again. Jiggity jig. When you're hearing rain on your RV roof and then it goes quiet, you know why. It turned to snow. We're at a pretty high elevation here. We're at Burwash Landing in the Yukon. This won't last long though. It's going to get up to 50 today. We're whipping up some blueberry muffins this morning. I like these Betty Crocker mixes in the envelope. They taste really good. And you only need to add water or milk. You don't need eggs or oil. So I'm preheating the oven. It'll be nice and toasty warm in here soon. Let's see how they're doing. And look at that. The tea kettle's just about ready too. Well, it's a beautiful morning to be on the road. We just pulled out of Burwash Landing in the Yukon by Destruction Bay. And we're heading out up the Alaska Highway. We're hoping to reach Tok today. It's about 200 miles. And I guess this is going to be the roughest stretch of highway. We will see. You ready for it, Steve?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go.
We're not using any microphone today other than the directional one on the GoPro. I have the mod device that clicks around the GoPro with the extra mics. Neither our cordless or our corded mic are working properly. I wasted a lot of footage from the last 2 days because there was no microphone sound at all. And then on other segments it would pop back in, so something isn't working correctly. So today we're just going to use the one that's attached right to the GoPro mod. See how it works. Well, here's some of the frost heaves. I'm sure there's more to come. Okay, here's some of the rough roads. Here's some of the rough roads. We let the semis go ahead. And here's a little taste. Well, that one's fairly good. Most of that has been patched. Here comes some more. But we knew this is what we were going to be expecting in this stretch. The scenery is beautiful. You catch those roller coaster dips. I don't know how well it showed up on the camera. It's eventful, that's for sure. But it's fun. We're just cruising along slowly. We're doing about 45. Steve slows down to about 25 or 30 when we're close to some of these rougher areas. I must say, most of them are patched, which is quite nice. So I know we are going to find some gravel construction areas coming up ahead. That's what makes it challenging and fun. Okay, Steve's doing pretty good here driving. Here's the view from his point of view. We've been driving about an hour. We're averaging about 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, so you just have to pay attention to the road and which way it's leaning or which way it's rolling, and also the potholes. You got to kind of straddle them, and I think to me that's the worst part is the potholes. You stay away from the potholes, and most of the other stuff, even with the flags, you can kind of find a route as long as there's not another vehicle coming, find a route around them, around the problem areas. That's kind of like a video game where you got to kind of look out for all the bad areas on the road. So, but you know, not any worse than the roads up in Upper Michigan. So, pretty used to this stuff.
Kudos to the highway department. Most of them have been fixed or patched in some form, that they're not too bad. We haven't, like really had any bone-jarring hits. We're pretty well marked, or it's been pretty well, repaired. Scenery is absolutely beautiful when you take the time to look. Poor Steve can't take his eyes off the road to look at anything. I told pretty soon we'll have to take a little break, de-stress, have a little late breakfast. Here's some of the graveled areas. Quite a bit of washboard. They haven't been graded in a while. At least the dust is kept down because of the rain overnight. That's a blessing. Now we're slowed down to about 20 miles an hour, but it's better than shaking our teeth loose and knocking everything out of the cabinets. We'll go slow. We're not in any hurry. I was just telling Steve we should stop the rig, run ahead with the GoPro, set it up on a tripod at a really bumpy spot, run all the way back to the rig, then drive it through so you can film us going through a bumpy spot, and then stop and pick up the GoPro again. I don't think so. Anyhow, we're about 10 miles out of Beaver Creek. We've been going through some pretty rugged patches, but then it smooths back out to blacktop again like this. But we're doing okay. Some dips and sways. Here's an area where it looks like there had been a fire. Whoa! There we go over some bumps. See how fast that semi takes it. Whoa! Oh, these are some heaves. He's Walmart, he's flying along. Whoa, that's some twisty turny heaves. Hoists us side to side. We took a little break from driving on the Alaska Highway and stopped at a place called Buckshot Betty's. Oh my goodness, we're a little dirty, Steve. I think we're kind of in a need for a wash. Ooh, look at that. So, this Buckshot Betty's says it's also a bakery. So although we didn't want lunch, we're going to take a look and see what they have in their bakery. Oh darn, it says closed. They won't return till 4 o'clock. So much for bakery.
Yep.
Well, it was a good thought. It was a good break. We made grilled ham and cheese sandwiches for lunch. And now we have about 30 more miles and we'll be crossing into Alaska. One more border crossing. So here we are, we made it to Alaska. Well, even though we've been in Skagway and Haines in that lower portion, now we're up in the main body of Alaska.
Yeah.
Right, Nick? He said, let's go. Go sniff. Okay, the international boundary between the United States, the Treaty of 1925, and Canada.
Spread your legs across that board and you'll be on both states.
Yep, right here. Okay. Spread them, Steve. Right there. Okay, put Nick half and half.
Here, Nick.
There. You're half Canadian and half U.S. Here's the boundary between the United States and Canada. See anybody jumping the border?
No.
Nope, nobody's jumping the border. Here we are leaving the Yukon and entering into the main body of Alaska. And customs is just up over that hill. Stopped and did the obligatory sign and wore our t-shirts from the kids. Okay, Steve, where's your t-shirt? He took it off so you didn't get dirty. There we go. Perfect. Well, we did it. We made it across the border and we're in Alaska for the second time on this trip. Because, of course, we had to cross to get into Skagway and Haines. But then we had to go back out into the Yukon to get up to the rest of the state. So we made it over the border. They did do one search of groceries, and our rice was not in its original container, so they had to take our rice. It had been put into a canister, like my flour and my sugar. But that was it, so we were just fine and passed, and we are in the state. The road is a lot smoother, and things are getting a lot greener. Little easier to drive, Steve?
Oh, definitely. This is pretty new road here. I don't know.
And into our lives shall come a little bit of road construction. We have a pilot car. We're about 50 miles away from Tok. I think we're going to hang it up there for the night and hang out in Tok.